Hey guys, and welcome back to another video where we're going to be going over GameStop's earnings before GameStop earnings before it happens tomorrow. It is currently 4:25, September 9th, 2024, and they report after the close tomorrow, September 10th, 2024. So firstly, let's go over some charts here so we can get it out of the way and y'all know what to expect. Looking at our day candles here for both GME on TradingView and Thinkorswim. On Thinkorswim on the right here, we're currently in an uptrend from Friday after I think Roaring Kitty and somebody else bought a bunch of options in hope and in light of GME posting better than expected earnings per share coming this earnings period. And we can see last earnings period, they came with a negative 12 cents per share. And this earnings period, they're expecting a negative 9 cents per share, which is a decline of about 3 cents. But here on earnings report, NASDAQ, we have GameStop actually saying they're going to have a consensus of about 1 cent per share, which is about 10 cents better than what we thought they would do. Last year's EPS was 3 cents a share, signaling an overall decline from the period a year ago. Let's take a look at our chart on TradingView here. We see that we are in an uptrend on our day candle. We have a bit of a mixed signal here as we had a buy and then a sell and then a buy again. We're currently down just a little bit from our high of $25, so that would be a $3 increase since Friday. Looking at our 15-minute candle here, let's actually go to our hour candle. Looking at our hour candle here, our oscillator slash RSI says we're almost at our 80 RSI and we're starting to lose volume here, but that may just be a profit trim point. Looking a little closer in though at our 45-minute candle, we see that we had some blue candles here and then it started to go back up, which I think honestly going into earnings we'll either in the morning at 8:30 see a decline back down to about let's say 23.50, or just an overall increase in the day, probably to about 27 if it doesn't take off before that. Because a lot of GameStop premiums may take into effect, and it still has a lot of room to squeeze. As we see here, last earnings period, it shot up about $40 to 60 something. To about $67. But we're not really seeing that here in this earnings period before. You know, it's just kind of true and quiet. Sorry. That GameStop will report in a better earnings per share than we thought they would, and that's all it will be. But we honestly, as gamers, have to support a company that has given their business to us for so many years now, and that's a very respectable thing. Let's take a look at some news here. Following Market Watch. But let's go to Bazinga on what they think will happen. They say they report earnings Tuesday after the market close. They were going to report a second quarter revenue of $895.7 million. That's down from last year's second quarter. The company reported $1.16 billion. Analysts were predicting a year-over-year decline. That's just to be expected. GameStop has missed analysts' estimate for revenue in 3 straight quarters and 6 of the last 10 quarters overall. So we see here last quarter they did come in negative, but we shot up before that a good amount, seeing that GameStop does have room to squeeze in the pre-market and aftermarket hours. It says here the video game retailer reported a loss of 12 cents a share, which I had already said to y'all. Key items to watch going into GameStop. It has provided minimal updates and often releases earnings without conducting a conference call. That's not necessarily a bad thing, although when you want to know more about how a business is functioning, you usually ask a lot of questions in order to determine how to process and move ahead. GameStop also provided an update on how it plans to use its cash from recent offerings. I think last quarter they may or may not have done some repurchasing of shares, which is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's for investors knowing that the foundation and institution is still backing behind its words. Let's see if I see any other news. We'll look at Bazinga. We can see here Roaring Kitty and another person and from Unusual Whales bought some GameStop calls on Friday, but it says here then tweeted at 12 p.m. and the option trader exited the trade fully for a 35% gain. As traders look toward the upcoming earnings report, the implied move for GameStop is 14.42%, which is creating a lot of premium in GameStop options. I think that should conclude where this video ends. With the information I've given y'all. Now, it may not be enough to tell which direction it is going, but I think it is enough to determine what we need to have on our watch lists and our stock portfolio going into GameStop after its earnings. As always, guys, if you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's anything you think I should do differently, please suggest that to me. I highly appreciate it. As always, have a great day. Thank you.